Now, despite just coming out, Kendrick Lamar's new album GNX is already causing chaos on the entire rap world like only few other projects ever have. And while it shouldn't be a surprise that this record that's showing this ruthless version of Kendrick Lamar after being a part of the biggest battle the genre has ever seen is so divisive in terms of how other people and especially rappers are reacting to it, what is surprising is that not even a full 24 hours after the project dropped, in the middle of the night, one of the biggest rappers on the planet, who's already had escalating tension with Kendrick ever since the Super Bowl halftime show was announced, and Lil Wayne finally addressed Kendrick Lamar officially. Because after on the intro track of this project, Whacked Out Murals, as Kendrick Lamar was rapping about all of his biggest haters and enemies in his career, and at this point, had to address Lil Wayne and how despite him being one of his idols, that he feels like he ended up letting Lil Wayne down, because Kendrick ended up blocking him from playing the Super Bowl halftime show in his home city of New Orleans. And so now after Wayne was name dropped on this album here, he took online to say, "Man, WTF I do. I just be chillin' and they still come for my head. Let's not take kindness for weakness. Let this giant sleep. I beg you all. No one really wants destruction. Not even me, but I shall destroy if disturbed. One me, love." And now with Lil Wayne saying this, there is a lot to unpack here, but over everything, what's crazy about all this from Wayne is that after playing the nice guy role, even during the height of when his signee Drake was beefing with Kendrick Lamar, he is now letting the rage he seemingly has about this entire situation control his decision making, which is causing him to now tell Kendrick Lamar to let this giant sleep. Because if he doesn't, he is saying that he is going to bring destruction on him if he is disturbed. Which clearly here Wayne is trying to tell Kendrick and everyone else against him that he is on the verge of hopping into all of this beef in the genre head on, and that he is now on the brink of just dropping diss tracks and using his skills in a competitive environment. And I mean for Wayne, considering his track record in feuds and how generally he's stayed neutral or passive in a lot of the biggest conflicts he's been a part of or around, this really is a turning point for him and should show you how livid he is with Kendrick and the entire Super Bowl decision, whether he is justified or not. But really, with everything, it seems like between what Kendrick did to Drake, which was obviously humiliate him, and now Wayne being name dropped here on this album on top of everything that happened with the Super Bowl, which again, while Kendrick deserved it, Wayne does not see it that way. All in all, Wayne is just now fed up with everything that rap has given him this year, and he is looking for the last reason to just crash out, and I mean with all of this. While the idea of Wayne now beefing with Kendrick is genuinely surreal, because with Kendrick versus Drake, or even Kendrick versus J. Cole, when we look at where these beefs are coming from, Wayne is from an entire other era in hip-hop, and really would be the first rapper from another moment in time who is jumping down to beef with Kendrick, and after Kendrick just humiliated everyone from his era who stepped to him, I mean, in a way, it is fitting for Kendrick to now go toe-to-toe with people from the previous generation who are considered legends. But still, with all of the messaging from Wayne and everything he is alluding to here, what's even crazier about this situation is that he is saying, "What did I do?" and is acting like a victim who is being picked on by Kendrick in this entire situation, which I mean, maybe that's just a Young Money thing because it's not too far off from the stuff Drake was doing this year. But for Wayne to act like this wasn't coming when after Kendrick Lamar announced that he was playing at the biggest show in music, he just went off as from a video on social media that he posted where he sounded so sad and defeated about everything, to then during a performance when he went on a rant and said that the Super Bowl was taken away from him. I mean, if Wayne is saying all that and showing those emotions, all of it is implying that he's mad at Kendrick Lamar for taking his spot, and I mean with all this behavior. And then the way a lot of other rappers seemingly just jumped out to support Wayne and the fact that he did not get the halftime show. As from Drake and Nicki Minaj, of course, to even others like Travis Scott, a lot of big rappers in the industry showed solidarity for Lil Wayne, and were saying that he belonged to play at the Super Bowl after all and not Kendrick. And this is why Kendrick did what he did. It's not like any of this came out of nowhere, and really in all honesty, as a lot of the GNX album has songs, stories, and lyrics that are referencing recent events, and moments that just went down in hip-hop. As we see this more with the intro track itself, as it is built off a moment where someone defaced a Kendrick Lamar mural in his home city. And then he uses this recent headline to go on this whole tangent where he is calling out everybody that still hasn't learned not to mess with him, and respect him for his true greatness. And then of course on this song, seeing how this all ends up, with Kendrick Lamar addressing the Super Bowl and what's been going down between him and Lil Wayne ever since it's been announced. When you really look at how this album is being framed, it really seems like this situation could have been the last domino that needed to fall to cause this project to formulate and release the way it ultimately did. And so with this Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne situation, It's really going to be interesting and important to see where things go from here. Because with Wayne now making these claims and really acting like no matter what Kendrick is doing in this era, that he is still a better rapper, and as he says, if this giant is woken up, there is going to be problems for everyone else. In a lot of ways, Wayne sounds like he wants the heat from this moment and is ready to jump right in, and because of this, I wouldn't be too surprised if we see Kendrick Lamar drop another response track to this, and I don't want to say diss here on his end, because I don't think Kendrick Lamar wants to humiliate Wayne the same way he did to Drake, for example, although he's definitely not going to let Wayne step on or run around with these narratives, especially if things go up from here. Because at the end of the day, with the MC Kendrick Lamar has shown he is, while he may have more respect for legends, he's not going to give Wayne a pass for disrespecting him and trying to change the narrative of what's going on right in front of our eyes. And I really think in the greater sense, Kendrick Lamar sees Lil Wayne right now as the embodiment of a lot of the rap game who is just livid at him for the type of success and dominance that he has asserted all year. Because let's face it, a lot of rappers have shown that they just don't like Kendrick and everything he stands for, because a lot of the guys occupying the mainstream today. Because for a lot of the guys occupying the mainstream today, Kendrick's effort and passion has challenged a lot of the things that they have used to blow up, because it just shows the quality difference in both good and bad hip-hop. And beyond this, I think a lot of rappers have this complex where, kinda like Lil Wayne, no matter how delusional it may sound, they think they're entitled to a lot of the spotlight that Kendrick Lamar seems to garner every time he does anything. And while it honestly is kinda laughable that there is so much silent disdain for Kendrick Lamar, and it really is just derived for the most part from jealousy, this is where hip-hop is at, especially in an era that has been led by a rapper as lazy as Drake for a while. So with Kendrick Lamar at this point recognizing where the rap game is moving on this album, and despite his efforts to try and bring hip-hop to a better place and also help put on other MCs who deserve more shine like we saw on this record, there is still a side to him on this LP that just understands that for a lot of this game, there is no saving and redeeming them, and the only way to move forward from a lot of the problems that really just Drake and the era he has controlled created is just to humiliate and not stop coming at this corner of hip-hop by showing off what real greatness looks like. And somehow, it's really sad that when we look at where the lines are drawn here, a lot of rappers and even big ones like Wayne are on the other side away from him, where they just can't respect Kendrick properly and acknowledge that he is one of the greatest rappers of all time who deserves the success he sees over everyone else he's in competition with right now. And I mean, when it really comes to the large state of rap, this whole Super Bowl thing really was a turning point, and I don't think we ever get this album the way we did without it, because as Kendrick raps about, the genre was so silent when he earned one of the biggest accomplishments a rapper ever could. And the only person who vouched for Kendrick and showed him the proper respect he deserved was none other than Nas. Which, with Nas being a beacon of what hip-hop represents in its most pure form, it really is telling that Nas has stood up and championed Kendrick Lamar over and over again, and just seeing the difference between how he feels compared to so many other newer rappers really just shows once and for all that no matter how people try to dilute hip-hop, twist narratives, and turn the genre into something else that it was never supposed to be, that people like Nas who represent rap and its golden age will always champion what is true and right. And I think the symbolism of this whole moment and where things are headed now that Lil Wayne has opened his mouth and pretty much told Kendrick to just come at him is just insane and surreal. And while Lil Wayne is considered a legend, really with the way things are headed between Drake's L and the Super Bowl going to Kendrick over him, the only way he can really try to earn any respect back would be to go at Kendrick Lamar and just try to flip the script of what's been happening. But at this point in time, based on the tracks Kendrick has given us all year, and now seeing where he is at on GNX, which really is just bringing him to an entire whole other level, messing with Kendrick right now just does not seem like a wise career choice, because I don't think anyone can win against someone who just balances being an MC and a competitor so masterfully. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think about this situation with Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne, and where do you think things are going to go from here? Will Wayne or Kendrick drop songs about one another from this moment, and who do you think is going to come out on top if it ends up going this way? I mean, with Kendrick Lamar and Lil Wayne now crossing the barriers of different generations and potentially being the next two rappers to go all at it, this is really such a pivotal moment in time that we are witnessing. And regardless of how this plays out, and even if this doesn't end up in a full-out beef, depending on how they answer to one another with Kendrick and the Super Bowl and with Lil Wayne and any new music he releases, this moment and time can definitely shift and change how we look at legacies. Now I can't wait to hear what you have to say, and if you made it this far in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, it helps me out a ton. And now if you want to see how beyond just Kendrick Lamar making Lil Wayne do this, GNX may just be Kendrick Lamar's new masterpiece album with everything it does right. Check out the suggested video.